It is an honor to be here with you today. The Better Business Bureau has been such a helpful part of running our business. And the application, the very first application, took me back to how we run our business, and it's helped us become better operators. I think often, how many of us here are business owners? I think often as business owners, we get caught up in the day-to-day. We're trying to work out a problem that just gets overwhelming and stressful, and we forget how we got there. So the Better Business Bureau has really helped me ground myself and think about how I do business. Like my friend and mentor Paul Bennett used to say, when you're up to your neck in alligators, it's hard to remember it was your job to drain the swamp. When the BBB called, my first question was, are you sure you have the right number? And they were like, you're Will Cole, right? I'm like, yeah. And they'll say, oh, yeah, we've called the right person. And I was like, oh, it'd be an honor to come here and talk to you at the Silver Fox meeting, a real honor. Then, of course, I asked, well, what do you want me to talk about? And then I was told how you won more than one Pinnacle Award, yourself and how to get started, how you got started, how Divine Renovation managed to operate for 20 plus years without a complaint, and oh yes, some sort of story that ties it all back to your business, something that everyone can take away, but not too technical. You don't want them falling asleep, and it's super easy. And that brought me back to something my friend Rob Hellier of Premier Remodeling used to say. He'd say, oh, so you're going to remodel your own home? How hard can it be? So I guess I'll go through the questions one by one. Pinnacle Awards. How did I win more than one Pinnacle Award? I have no idea. I had a friend once that told me the secret is to use really expensive paper and put perfume on it. It didn't work for me, and now there's no paper, so I don't know. So how did I become a remodeler? Well, it's strange because I didn't set out to become a remodeler. I didn't go to school to build houses or anything. I was actually a field representative for a major automobile manufacturer. We joked that we had the lives of rock stars. We flew all over the place, and it was not unusual. I'd have 5 or 10 cars in and around my house that weren't mine that were assigned to me. And you might ask, with that many cars, did you ever lose any of them? Oh, and yes, I did. And I'll tell you how. One day, one of my friends, another rep in the company, called up and said, hey, Will, do you have that truck? And I said, yeah, I've got the truck. And he said, well, can I borrow it for a couple of weeks to go on vacation? And I'm like, I don't care. So he says, well, after work, meet me at the flagpole. Now, I know this sounds like something out of high school where you're going to meet up on the ground after school. So we drive up next to each other, we get out of the cars, hand each other the key, and I take off and drive to California. And on the way back, when I got back to Houston on Friday, I realized something very important. Not only did I know where I parked the car, I didn't know if it was a car, truck, or SUV, or even the color. So imagine that night with me and the people at Lost and Found. There is a Lost and Found at the airport, trying to locate that car. And to my complete amazement, they knew exactly where it was because of the time I came in. So I'm working as a rep, and my wife and I hired this builder to build us 2 houses in Memorial Park. We're going to live in one and sell one. And he decided, and then 10 of my friends decided they would have the same house built in Memorial Park. So everything's good, except he decided that it's a good time to retire and take all of our money. So my wife and I immediately became part-time home builders with no education or experience, no knowledge of how to do this. And while we were building the house, I found a defect in the plans, but it was going to cost $5,000 per house to fix. I shared it with all my friends, and they decided not to do the fix. Well, 7 years later, I got called by all of them to come over to their house and for a lot more money fix all of these houses. Then some of the construction attorneys started calling because they knew I could fill out a report and do what they needed. And then realtors started calling, and then clients would refer their friends. And one morning I woke up and realized that I wasn't a district rep, I was actually a home remodeler. So that's how we got started. So how did we operate 20 years with no complaints? Well, it really starts with your focus in mind, what you want things to be. I don't know about you, but every time I hired someone to work at my house, work on something, cut grass, fix something, it was always a disappointment. They showed up late, they didn't show up. They didn't do what they were going to say they were going to do. They didn't keep their promises. It was always a disaster. And I would have been willing to pay more if I knew someone who would have just come and done the job so I didn't have to do it myself. And I bet other people would too. So Ford's claims that 75%, big companies, 75% of the people hired each year are mishires. 75% if you're a big company. So what that means to us in here, if your company hires 10 people this year, getting 2 of those Next year, on their 1-year review, that would be a miracle. Think of all the time and money wasted on that. So, working for 20 years without getting a complaint all starts with having the right people at the right time. And it starts with having things easy for the people to understand. For instance, let's take a look at Exxon's value statement. Exxon says, ExxonMobil Corporation is committed to being the world's premier petroleum and chemical manufacturing company. To that end, we must continually achieve superior financial operating results and adhering to high ethical standards. So if you worked for Exxon and they told you that you had to do your job every day, living up to the value statements, what does this even mean? Now, the Better Business Bureau has a good one. Now, at Divine Renovation, we make everything so easy for our workers that even a caveman could do it. Our motto is, we don't do average. Makes it really easy on a job site. I'm here with a client or one of my project managers. We're looking at a cabinet and I say, what do you think of those doors? He said, you mean the gap? And I say, would you call that average or better than average? He says, oh, about average. I'm like, well, you got to do it again. Our mission statement is to operate in a manner to free our clients, associates, and vendors from chaos so they can have more time to do what's important to them. Very easy for the people working for you to understand. Project manager, when Mr. Gibbs came home last night, did you leave his house perfect or was it chaos? Did he get home to find nails in the driveway, the switch in the attic's turned off so there's no air conditioning, the pilot light is out, and his dog is missing? Or was everything super clean? Super clean. So it's all very easy. Core values, internally to create an environment where exceptional people can do their best. That means everybody has to have the same values, the same likes. Nobody's talking bad, there's no rumor mill. Everybody likes everybody else. And externally to treat each client as their our only client. How many times have you had something like your yard guy is supposed to cut the grass on Saturday morning, but he calls up and tells you, hey, I've got this other guy who's going to have a party, so I'm going to get paid more money to cut his grass, and tomorrow I'll come to cut yours. Have you ever had anything like that happen? Yeah, so it really makes you feel like a second-hand person. So when we hire someone at Divine Renovation, we have 5 qualities they must meet. They have to be referred by someone we know. They have to have a because we believe it brings a higher level of accountability. They have to have a peaceful spiritual and physical demeanor. They have to be legal to work in the U.S. They have to have not been in prison, and they have to have the ability to do the job. Anyone that comes into your house from my company meets all those, but that didn't get them the job. That just got them an interview. Now they get to go to sit on the bench, work with a team, and then they're told, we're going to judge you on these things, given a written copy of these are the things you will be judged on every day. And next morning, every day, your supervisor is going to show you how you did. Simple things like, did you show up on time? Did you bring your tools? Were you prepared for work? Did you fill out the time card correctly? Did everybody like you? Did you have a safe, clean, and secure job site? Most people don't make it the first week. A greater number pass a month. Very, very few get past a month. But those that do get past a month, they've worked for us for 20 years. They're great people. Now, let's see, going on the questions. Now I'm supposed to tell this simple story that ties it all into my business and everybody can get something from. So I thought I'd tell the story about the carpenter. So there was this home builder, and he has this carpenter working for him. They've been working 20 years, and the carpenter is an amazing guy. He shows up on time, never complains, does awesome work. But one day, the carpenter comes in and tells the builder, hey, I'm old now, and my children have had children. I want to retire and go spend more time with them and travel around and take it easy. And the builder's kind of sad, and he says to the carpenter, hey, could you just build one more house for me? Just one more house as a personal favor. And the carpenter agrees. But as the carpenter starts building the house, you can tell his heart really isn't into it. Some of the corners are kind of crooked, that some of the doors swing open when they're left ajar. And then the day came. The day for the builder to walk the house with the carpenter. When the carpenter drove up in front of the house, he found the builder standing up on the porch waiting for him. And he got out of his car with his head hung low, kind of walked sheepishly over to the builder, knowing this is far from his average work. And when he got up there to the top, he was surprised when the builder held out a set of keys and said, here, this is your house. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all your years of service and dedication. Now, the carpenter was shocked. If he had known he was building his own house, he would have done it all so differently. But isn't that the way it is with us? We go through our lives, rarely doing our best job every day, not realizing the house we're building is the house we're going to live in. So in closing, many of the young people nowadays have sort of a different mentality than us older people. And I'm constantly asked by people, why should I work so hard and do a good job? My reply to them is, the reward for doing a good work is more work. So do the best you can every day, my friends. Do the best you can. Thank you very much.